Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
What if healing is really about remembering who you are? I remember my mother had a saying that if only I had a magic wand and I could make everything perfect. And I used to laugh and say, Mom, there is no such thing. But many times in life, we actually believe that some incredible miracle is going to come and help us heal. Or we are just going to be stuck with our anger and our anxiety and looking backwards and asking those questions, why me? Sometimes we get so entrenched in either our masculine or our feminine energy that we actually forget that we represent and have both within us. So today on the Success Blueprint, we are going to be discovering a little bit more about this topic. And for those of you saying, I don't even know what she's talking about right now, I understand that. We are actually going to get into it with my guest, who is Birgitta Visser. And Birgitta has been with us before, so I'm really excited to welcome her back. She is a modern day mystic, a soul empowerment coach, and she's a divine channel, an author, an advocate for personal and spiritual transformation. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. And I want to just get right into it because I remember a few years ago, someone was telling me that they felt like they were moving from a 3D world into a 5D world. And I really was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Of course, now I have a lot better information about that, and I understand that. And some people are understanding that there is a spiritual world, there's a spiritual side of ourselves, and other people are basically, it's nuts and bolts, it's money, dollars and cents. So what can you share with us about what the evolution or transformation is from a 3D world to a 5D world, and then we'll get into the topic.
Do you want me to explain it in layman terms?
Yes, if you can, that would be beautiful.
I can do that. So 3D to 5D, it just means frequency, it just means consciousness. And 3D is all about the go, 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 the very divine masculine, as we put it. You know, we're very stuck in living on this earth, paying our bills to make our way, to keep a roof over our heads. It's all about action. That's the very masculine. And so the divine feminine, where we have to transition from that 3D to everything that's going on around us, because basically, let's be very black and white. We live on Earth, which is called Terra. And so I always say we live in a terrarium. We live in this little glass box, and we have to act a certain way, be a certain way, you know, live according to many laws, regulations, you name it. And it's kind of dumbed down our awareness. It's okay if you want to live this way, but there's so much more to life when you step out of that terrarium, right? When you start to heal and when you start to say, hey, actually, I feel so much better. But it's also incorporating the divine feminine. Yeah, it's not just kicking out one and just saying, okay, I'm just going to live according to the divine feminine. No, it's about integrating both and using your intuition, your inner compass north, and learning to nurture ourselves and be vulnerable and being non-judgmental and having that empathy and that love, not just for yourself but for each other. And so that shifting from that 3D, that very as Jacqueline said, all the nuts and bolts, to incorporating that shift in consciousness and healing ourselves to feel lighter and more aligned within ourselves. That's basically it, and very black and white.
Thank you for that explanation. I appreciate it. It was easy to understand and follow. Last night we had a show about compassion, and is it compassionate to stay when you want to walk away? And I think that can even be translated into our own selves as opposed to not just relationships. And many times we beat ourselves up because we can't stand who we are or what we're doing, but yet we just can't seem to stop. So what is that moment, that breakthrough, when a person can realize, you know what, I have power over this. I don't need external validation or permission to say I can be compassionate with myself?
Yeah. Oh, um, that's a good point. Sometimes I will say this: everyone is different, but sometimes when your back is so far against the wall, and the universe does that on purpose because you are not serving a certain situation any longer, it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to remain as you are because that's all you think that you deserve? Or are you going to get up and do something about it? Yeah, and that is taking accountability for our lives. And just as you said earlier, it's not like you're going to have some fairy godmother coming to your rescue. You are your own savior. You are responsible. You are responsible for your own life. Yeah, it's easy to say, yeah, but I can't do this. I can't do that. Yes, you can. So I always say self-respect, forgiveness, loving yourself, living in grace, and having gratitude for everything that you go through. You have that power, and we often give our power away. So if you're in a situation where you're like, I can't do this anymore, then you have to put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants and say, enough is enough. I deserve better. And it starts with you.
Yes, here, here. Now, I just want to dovetail into what you just said. So let's think of someone who is working in a corporate career and they're making good money and they have benefits, but they have a family, but they can't do it anymore. They basically have been hiding in their work, right? They dread going in and they make the decision, you know what, sweetheart, I've decided I'm going to leave and I'm going to find something else, but I don't actually have anything else. It's probably not going to be received very well by their partner. So there's one thing about external validation, and then there's another thing about disrupting the ecosystem of your immediate family. What are your thoughts about that?
Whoa! You're talking about the ego, right?
Yes.
So, yes, interesting. I always say to people, do what makes you happy, do what is right for you. When we And this is a very interesting part. So if you're no longer happy within your job, why do you remain? Yeah. When we are in a relationship, and being in a relationship with someone, it's all about give and take. But often enough, it's like, but you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's like this whole endless legal contract full of clauses because my guides have always said this. It's like, it's not people that fall in love, it's the egos that fall for one another. But then again, we learn from one another. So if the partner gets mad because, hey, you know what, you don't want to work there anymore, then you have to ask yourself, does this relationship serve me? Can we talk about it? Can we come to an understanding? I mean, that's entirely up to you. But you just have to sit with yourself Yeah, rather than have your mind going in all different directions. And just sit with yourself and ask yourself, is this worth it? Yeah, because only you have the answers. You have all the answers you seek within. Yeah, but for me, I mean, if I'm not happy somewhere, boom, I walk away.
Yeah, thanks for making it so direct because I think that's what it really comes down to. But we tell ourselves stories. Well,
Yes,
if
we
I
do.
do this, I'm going to hurt her, him, them. They'll never forgive me. They can't make it without me. And I think that sometimes we're giving people a gift by saying, you know what? I'm really not happy here and I'm not serving you because I'm not serving myself. But
Yes.
we don't go down that line. We just go, boo hoo, and then we walk around complaining to the entire world about how badly we have it, right?
Yeah, and we always have we can all change. I don't care what age you are, you all have the ability, the potential to change, to transform your own lives. And it's really up to you. And if you're going to stay as you are and still mate, yeah, you're going to just go down the chute. And it's like your guides are looking up and the universe is like, okay, well, you made this choice, right? How far are you willing to go down this path? And we will keep sending experience to you. And at some stage you're like, okay, you know what, it's gotten so bad, I actually deserve better. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you are a soul in this temporary body, and it's up to you what you're going to make out of your life, what you are going to do with your life. Yeah. It took me a long time to get there, and no matter how many experiences have been thrown my way, because I'm going through a huge transformation now, it's like I know what I have to do, and I'm doing it. I'm leaving Spain, and it's time. And these things are like, to me, for some people, change is very, very difficult, but sometimes it's really necessary. And it's not like, oh, I'm going down not in the right direction. No, actually, it's a redirection. It's not a misdirection, it's a redirection to a better life. And even like when people leave their jobs and they don't have a job yet, it's like, well, actually, you've closed one door, so another door will open for you. That's just the way it works.
I completely agree. And it brings to mind this award winning TV series. I don't know if you saw it, but it was called Breaking Bad. It was on many, many years ago, but so many awards it earned. And the basic premise, without going through the whole thing, is you have a school teacher, a high school teacher who's diagnosed with cancer, and he feels like he only has a certain amount of time left to live and he needs money to take care of his family. And
Yeah.
so he starts producing methamphetamines and he gets into a completely criminal world and he ends up killing people, putting his entire family. And anyway, at one point towards the end of the show, when he is facing his wife, she's like, why did you do this? And he said, you know what? Because I really liked it. So he went down this path of completely different from where he was like lily white. And
Yeah.
so I think the message for me about that is we all have a choice, but sometimes our ego gets so far along that we can't see the devastation in our wake. We can't see what we've created to say, you know what, enough. I can't keep doing this because by doing this, it's unhealthy for me mentally and physically. So I want to start talking about the healing process. But before we get into that, what if someone is watching right now and they feel like we're talking to them, but then they think after the show, you know what, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to change anything. It's too much work.
Well, I'm sorry, but as you know, it is a lot of work. Yeah. And I'm sorry, you were born into this world to experience life, um, to experience life, and not to remain as you are, unless you're really feeling comfortable in your skin and you're okay. But if you're not, and you're going through something that is painful, and you want to remain in that discomfort, then go right ahead. But I always say you are deserving of a better life. Do not think so little of yourself. Yeah, and pour that love back into your own heart. It's, I don't know. I mean, I've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt when I was like, gosh, donkeys years ago, but I always got up. I always got up and did the work. And I know, Jacqueline, not everyone is wired that way, but I mean, it's free will, right? If you want to remain as you are, that's entirely up to you. But if you're like, hey, I am deserving of a better life and I'm going to change it, then it is up to you. Yeah, because you're your own super caped hero.
That's right. And that empowerment is transformational in and of
Yes.
itself. So what I've also seen happen is someone realizes they're not happy and now they decide to escape it instead of dealing with it. So they start drinking, doing drugs,
Yes.
gambling. We could go on and on and on. And they get so far removed from the reality that they really think that using substances or whatever it might be, sometimes it can be passive aggressive behavior where what you're doing is you're constantly insulting other people or you're constantly judging other people. And the truth is, at the core, you are unhappy, but
Yeah.
you don't want to address it. So, my question for you before we go to the break is, what is a first step when it comes to healing? We're going to think about that while we're on the break, and then we'll be right back. So stay with us. We're going to hear from our friend Red O'Loughlin, who's written a new book. It's called Aging Sucks. Take a look.
What if many of the problems we associate with aging are not random? What if there are identifiable causes behind declining energy, chronic disease, and memory problems? We have been told that aging is simply something we must accept, that slowing down is normal, that growing older means growing weaker. But what if that's only part of the story? Why do some people remain active and engaged well into their later years? Why do others struggle with disease, fatigue, and declining health? What is happening beneath the surface? What processes drive aging? In Aging Sucks, researcher, educator, and author Red O'Loughlin explores what researchers have discovered about why we grow older. No medical degree required, no confusing jargon, just clear explanations of what researchers have discovered about the processes that influence aging. You cannot stop aging, but understanding its causes may help you make better decisions about your health, your future, and your quality of life. Because understanding comes before action. Action creates hope. Aging sucks. End the guesswork. There is hope.
Welcome back to the Success Blueprint, where we are exploring what if healing is really about remembering who you are. Let's bring out our guest, an expert in this area, Brigitte Visser. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me again after the break.
Thank you for staying. In the first part of our show, we were talking about the transition from 3D to 5D.
Yeah.
We touched briefly on masculine and feminine energy, which we'll get into. But we're talking about now we realize that we are not happy in our life in some aspect. And we realize, hello, you have a choice. So you can do something, that no one's coming to save you. There's no magic wand. So now the question is, what is a first step we can take toward healing?
It's really about becoming aware, and so the awareness and acceptance, first of all, and to stop living in denial and to whack-a-mole your emotions, and running away from them. It's okay to sit down and to notice the pain and to feel it all, without judgment. Yeah, because it doesn't matter what you've been through. It's not about feeling the guilt. It's not about feeling the anger. It's just sitting with the emotions and moving forward from that point on. That is the most important thing.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about Power Soul Healing. I know that name was given to you in 2010.
Yes. a long time ago. Power soul healing is really, really simple. I think we've touched on it as well. Um, we give away our power because people have their opinions, they judge us, and it's like we're all over the place because we feel like, oh, we have to be a certain way, we have to act a certain way, just to fit into the mold of a created society. But you're here to take back your I am power, yeah, to take back your I am power, and to heal your soul, to heal your spirit, from all the suffering, from all the trauma that you've been through, so that you can dance back to the rhythm and the music of your own soul, and that you are in alignment with your body.
And you work with people as a soul empowerment coach, light language healer. Can
Yeah.
you explain what these terms mean to our audience?
So light language healing is something that a lot more people are doing now, and it's really the cosmic frequency of love. So I work a lot with the ascended masters and the galactics, and they come through to me, um, and it's such a beautiful. I mean, when I transmit it, I myself feel the healing as well. But on a conscious level, you're not going to understand it. As I always say it's like minion language or gerbil language, but your soul, yeah, understands the light codes just beautifully, and that's what it's all about.
And when we're thinking about, and by the way, to our audience, I have no idea what I'm going to ask, and Brigitte has no idea what I'm going to ask either. I have no idea what she's going to say. So we know that we have our physical body. We
Yes.
also know we have our mind. And then
Mhm.
some people believe, as I do, that we have a soul.
Yeah.
But I think people have a difficulty actually connecting to what a soul is or what the
Mhm.
soul's mission is. Would you elaborate on your understanding of that?
Whoa, well, the soul's mission. Oh, before we incarnate into this world, there are certain lessons you've signed up for on this school of life, so to speak. And as a whole, our soul's mission is really to return to that love for ourselves and each other. Yeah, because when we love each other unconditionally, and when we love ourselves unconditionally, the world would be a completely different place. Yeah, maybe I live in utopia, right? But maybe in a million years, life will be very, very different. And for those people who say, yeah, but I don't have a soul, oh, that's great. So the bunny with the Duracell batteries, so when the batteries are not there, the Duracell bunny doesn't operate. So if the soul's not in the body, it doesn't work, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. And some people, I know a question that I got on this topic before was, well, what if you're a sinner? We're all sinners in some way.
Yeah.
So do we deserve to have a soul that's healed?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We live in a world of duality, and there's a reason for that, right? Because without duality, how could we even how could we even progress to heal? How would we understand light from darkness? Sun from night, so to speak, or day from night. So there are polarities in this world, so that we can heal, and I think there's a lot of beauty in that. And the more we understand our experiences, and the less judgmental we become.
I completely agree with that. And I've shared that I was raped, and I don't go backwards and think about it doesn't bring me a lot of pain. I'm able to talk about it. But I know when people are still in the healing process, it's difficult and it's traumatic to
It is.
actually revisit those experiences. So I think the first thing is that we acknowledge that there is duality. I think that's a great point. There's love, there's hate, there's peace, there's war. And so we acknowledge the fact that we don't always make the right choices, but that doesn't mean that we can't be at peace or be happy once we take responsibility for these and maybe pick a different path. So when is a good time for someone to actually come and see you as a client? Do they have to do some kind of work before that there is a certain package and then, hello, here, I'm ready?
I'm normally a last resort for people, but no, I always say as long as you're open and you're willing to do the work and change. I'm a tool in the toolbox. Yeah, you are your own greatest healer. I just unlock your potential. That is the one thing that I will always say. But if they leave and they're not willing to do the work, that is not my choice. That is their choice.
What do you think's behind that? If someone actually says, okay, I'm not happy with what I'm doing, I'm going to go down a different path, but then they don't actually take action. It's like, I talk to people about the fact that we have so much information at hand and we know so many things about for our health, for example, and yet we still make choices that we're not treating our body like a temple. It's kind of like, you know the information. Why are you making the choices that you are?
Because it's easy, right? It's so comfortable to remain in that discomfort because we're so used to living a certain way. We're so programmed to live a certain way that it's like, no, actually, I don't want to change. I want to stay as I am. Okay, then. That's a choice. That really is a choice. But yeah, you're right.
And so you have worked on yourself. I work on myself. Many of the people who come here, we're on a journey that evolves. Yes. How do you feel when you are with someone, if they're not a client, but someone who is living in their own mind and they're not actually facing the reality? You're having a social encounter and they're just complaining constantly. What are the feelings that come up?
I normally walk away, but I do. I mean, the truth is I really live in my own little bubble, but I have had people complain, and what happens is I become very direct because I don't sugarcoat things, and I do tell people, if you want to change your life, it's entirely up to you. You don't have to stay in this pain. You don't have to stay in this situation. It's a choice.
That's right. That's right. And I appreciate what you said because I also live in my own little bubble. I am alone most of the time, which is okay, because I think when you make a choice that you do not want to be part of the chaos and drama, it gives you time to grow and thrive and then help other people.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
So when someone realizes they need help, and you mentioned that coming to you might be a last resort, hopefully it'll be a first resort now, what does that engagement look like?
Oh, it's different with everyone. So I either start off with my singing bowls and then go into light language. They don't really need to tell me everything that is going on because it will come out. It will come out anyway. I've had people cry. I've had people heal from physical ailments. Again, I'm just a conduit. But yeah, it's different for everyone. Sometimes I'll pick up my card deck just to see where they're at in life. It's very different. It's not like, when you do like a Reiki session, for instance, or aroma touch. Light language is really about just going with the flow and sitting with the soul. The client, I always say the soul sitting in front of you. And light language just gets through the chaos, through the noise. That's the beauty about it. Oh, you're on silent.
Sorry about that. We are going through your website right now, which is powersoulhealing.com. And there's a lot of great information here, and also a way for people to subscribe and stay connected with you. You're also an author. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about that journey.
When did I write my first book? I started writing it in 2000, 1999, 2000. I'm currently taking that apart. But yes, I've written Child of the Sun and Route to Enlightenment in India, which became a international bestseller. I've done several collaboration works. I'm So Glad You Left Me. Divine Rebirth and Miracles Are Normal. And there's another one coming out on the 26th of September, Evolving on Purpose. And then I'm doing 2 more collaboration books, which I will start writing later this year. So
This is such a great title. I'm so glad you left me. I love this title. And your book covers are just terrific. Do you do your own work, or do you hire someone?
no, so the collaboration books is that was Dina Marais at the top. So she gets the authors together. But Child of the Sun was part of that cover was created by someone, and then I added the monk, and then Becoming Authentically Me. I created that design, and then somebody made it more professional.
Very well done. So, something that is speaking to me right now, I've said a couple times today on the show that there's no magic wand and no one's coming to save us. And you have a book title, Miracles Are Normal. So,
They
what's
are.
the difference between someone coming with a magic wand and making everything better and a miracle?
I think, for everyone, there are different stories in there. I mean, people do encounter angels, or people that are angels. For me, the miracle was really about following my inner compass north. But miracles are normal. It's like everyday things, living with grace and having gratitude and acceptance for everything that you are going through, regardless of what may be going on in your life. I mean, you've got the breath of life. Yeah, be thankful, because every day that you've been given the breath of life, I mean, that's a miracle in itself. Um, do things that you want to do, right wrongs, go after opportunities. These are all important things, because by the time if you reach 65, don't live with the what ifs. You're never guaranteed tomorrow. So there are miracles everywhere. Putting your feet in the sand, or the sea, just walking in nature. Everything is a miracle to me. For me, it was in that book I talked about moving to Turin, Almeria, and just walking my dog at 5 a.m. in the morning, as you do. And the air is so crisp and clear there. It was amazing, because I just saw a formation of spacecraft just flying over. And, I've seen them more often, and there were so many shooting stars down there as well. I was always mesmerized, and I stood there. I would stand there in the morning, whether 4:30 or 5 a.m. I would just stand there, my neck craned towards the skies. And these are miracles, because how many people look up at the sky? Not
It's
many.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very true. I think something else that's coming up for me is when we think about someone coming with a magic wand and making everything go away, we're not actually taking any action. We're not involved. We're just offloading it to someone else. But
Yeah.
miracles, I think, really start with gratitude, being
Yes.
grateful, being appreciative, looking around. And so we are actively involved. And then why not? Why shouldn't something happen from the universe? Because we are honoring the universe, as opposed to just make this all go away. Just do it for me.
It's never going to happen, right? That's the
No.
thing. When people want things to just magically go away, it will as long as you keep resisting, it will keep persisting, and it will become so loud that you're like, I need to do something about it. Either that, or you go into an escapism mode. Um, there's no right or wrong. It's entirely up to you how you decide to live your life.
It's true. I know there have been times in my life when it was like that, where it's just like, stop. I don't want to think about this anymore because you're not happy in a situation. What are you going to do about it? And then I think looking back, this was a long time ago, you just start making excuses about why it's okay to stay in the situation. But eventually I just said, no, I'm done. I've had enough. And what I'd really like to say to our audience today is you don't have to get to that breaking point where it affects your health, where it affects your ability to function. Long before that, inside if you are not happy. So here's my question for you as we close out the show. Sometimes people will say, well, you know what? If I wait just a little longer, it might change. What do you think about that?
How long are you going to keep kicking that can down the road?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. So do we set a time limit? Do we say, okay, I will endure this for another year? Or what do we say? Just at the moment, that's it, I'm done.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of time if you want to change, yeah. But if you are, for instance, and this is an example, whether that's work or relationship, you're done and you cannot do this anymore, then it's entirely up to you how you decide to move forward. I am very radical. So when I'm done with something, I am done with something. That doesn't mean that I can just walk away from one day to the next. Um, there's stuff going on in my life and I need to make a plan. So, but never wait a year. A year is very, very long to remain in a toxic pond.
Very true. And I'll just share this that I had a great career in corporate, but I was always sick at
Yeah.
ulcerative colitis attacks. It's very hard to travel around the world and work like that. So I hired a coach and I came up with a plan with options A, B, and C for
Amazing.
after I retired. And then the pandemic hit. That wasn't even on the list, but I still retired. And that was before I had the television network. So you just never know.
No, you don't. Absolutely. And I always say, once you get out of whatever situation you're in, trust me, life will look a lot more beautiful. And if you believe that you are deserving of a better life, then go for it. Yeah. Do not wait. Do not put your feet up and do not wait for something to magically change for you. You have to put in the work.
What a beautiful way to close out this episode. Thank you very much. So, for people who want to get in touch with you, please don't wait until it's the last option. Make it the first option. But who would be a good client? And are you taking on clients?
Yes, I mean, I'm in the middle of, yeah, from September onwards, I am. Yes, let's keep it at from September onwards, I am, because I'm in the middle of trying to sort everything out. So, yeah, yes, that's my Instagram. And I think I will say this, it says discovering inner peace and joy. And the most important thing to me, and for everyone that's different, but to have that peace, that inner peace and quiet, and that very quiet joy.
And it is amazing what you can accomplish when you have inner peace. It really
Yes,
is. And some people have no idea what we're even talking about. There are people out there right now, I'm sure they feel like they're suffocating. They can't
yes,
even breathe in their own life. And my heart goes out to you. But guess what? You have a choice, you have options. So, Birgitta Visser is someone who can help you, who's passionate about doing it. And September is right around the corner. So over to you for last words as we close out today. What would you like to say, Brigitte?
oh, last words. So, okay. So the most important thing is that you live your life as you see fit. Don't let others do the talking for you, because you'll be swayed like a weeping willow in the wind. And it's time for you to take back your I am power to accept yourself as you are and start living in awareness. So rather than having your mind full and that's overrunning like you're a gerbil on a treadmill and becoming really anxious, because that's how stress adds to the body, and it will come out in some way, form, shape or another, because we're energy. It's like, stop doing that, but learn to live mindful. So live in that awareness. And today is the first day to the rest of your life. So make the necessary changes, heal yourself, and make sure that your heart is overflowing with a love for yourself first and foremost, because self-love is important. Have that relationship with yourself first, because trust me when I tell you, you are worthy, you have value. And if people don't love you, then know that I love you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for having me today.
Thank you. If this episode spoke to you, congratulations. Maybe this was your wake-up call, and it is the first day of the rest of your life, because you don't have to live in a situation that is not bringing you peace and joy, in which you're not growing, you're not thriving, whether it is your career, your work situation, your family dynamics, your personal situation. There is a solution. Sometimes it seems like it's impossible to find because we're looking in all the wrong places. Look in the mirror, look into your own eyes, look into your heart, and realize that sometimes the best thing you can do is to walk away. Because by walking away, you're giving yourself a new opportunity, as well as those in your lives who you might not be serving. It might be a dysfunctional relationship all the way around, and no one's looking to take action. Thank you again for being here today. If you haven't done so far, please do subscribe. What are you waiting for? To our 2 YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. And now we're going to close out with a word from our friend Verna Haywood. Take a look. What happens when life tries to break you? When the pain is unimaginable, the losses are overwhelming, and every step forward feels impossible. There comes a moment, a choice. Will you surrender or will you rise? From breast cancer survivor to survivor of domestic abuse to inspiring thousands around the world, Verna Haywood shares a deeply personal journey of courage, healing, and transformation. This isn't just a story about surviving. It's about rediscovering your purpose, reclaiming your voice, and becoming stronger than the challenges you never asked for. Discover Unstoppable Resilience, Heal, Rise, and Reclaim Your Power by Verna Haywood. Continue the journey on the Unstoppable Life with Verna Haywood exclusively on USA Global TV and Radio.
Every day, we wake up knowing what we should do. We know we should take better care of ourselves. We know we should have the difficult conversation. We know we should stop making excuses. We know we should invest in our future. We also know we should take the first step. So why don't we? It's not because we aren't smart enough. It's not because we don't have enough information. And it's certainly not because we don't care. We live in a world overflowing with knowledge. Books, podcasts, videos, courses, experts, even artificial intelligence. We have more access to information than any generation before us. Yet so many of us are still waiting for the right time, waiting to feel ready, waiting until tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week becomes next year, and before you know it, another opportunity has passed us by. The truth is, knowing has never been the finish line. It's only the starting line. Our lives don't change because we know more. Our businesses don't grow because we know more. Our relationships don't improve because we know more. and our health doesn't transform because we know more. Everything changes when we act. When we choose courage over comfort, progress over perfection, action over intention. The question isn't, what else do we need to know? The question is, what are we going to do with what we already know? Stop. Why Knowing Isn't Enough by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Because knowing opens the door. Action changes your life. Available September 2026.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.